Going on YouTube, Uberman here. Today we're going to do a video about intoxicated passengers and the best way to deal with them. So here's the way I do it, and for the most part it works just fine. Intoxicated passengers can act in a variety of different manners. Sometimes they're exceptionally compassionate and friendly, sometimes a little too friendly. In that situation, I stay very respectful, and if they're getting a little too close or a little too personal, I tell them that my job is to get them home safely, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, and nothing else is going to come from that. Now, honestly, if a beautiful woman wants you to go home with her, the question has come up, what do you do? Well, that's a personal decision, guys. I can't answer that for you, but I can tell you from a moral perspective, you should never do that. I understand that you can get caught up in the mood, and every situation is different, but you're supposed to be a professional driver. And that's the way I look at myself. I am a professional driver. Yes, maybe it is UberX, but I'm still doing a job that I consider to be professional, and I present myself in a professional manner at all times. I will not go inside or go home for a quickie, especially if they're intoxicated too, guys. I mean, they're not thinking clearly, and I don't feel we should take advantage of that. Not at all. So I say it's best, regardless of the situation, whether they're intoxicated or not, you shouldn't do it. You're supposed to be a professional driver, and to me that is not professional. But again, I'm not going to tell you you can't. I mean, obviously I have no say over that, and I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong for doing it if you have or you're going to do it. I just think that it's somewhat immoral. But that's just me. My values may differ from yours. Next, let's move on to the passengers that jump in the car and are maybe semi-aggressive. Okay, not fully. Let's just, they're a little bit on edge. You can tell they're agitated. In this situation, I find it best to keep as quiet as possible. That way you avoid the possibility of agitating them even more or escalating their mood to the next level of them becoming aggressive. The quieter you can be, the better. Just take them where they need to go. If the address is not already entered, be very polite, be very respectful. You don't want things to get out of hand. So, yeah, you heard that go off. That's that girl. Still, I can't tell you anything about her, but anyway, you see how when I smile I'm supposed to be a video about Uber. I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to redo it. Okay, semi-aggressive. Just try to stay quiet. Take them where they need to go. Be very polite. Be respectful. Now, if they get a little bit belligerent, maybe they have a little bit of an attitude. Guys, bite your tongue. It's hard. But if you can't deal with these types of situations, you don't need to be driving. I've got 4 kids, okay? So I can deal with just about anything. I can handle just about anything that comes my way. I know how to deal with these types of situations, okay? I had a stepfather that was drugged out of his mind and drunk out of his mind. I've learned from a lifetime of experience how to deal with people like this and how to de-escalate situations that could potentially become a lot worse. I'm going to give you the basic tools in a very brief video right here. Just keep quiet. Be polite. Be respectful. If necessary, a lot of times these people get on some kind of a power trip. Using sir, and women get this way too, okay? Yeah, you guys know I got punched in the mouth by one. Sir and ma'am, even if they're younger than you, be respectful. That's very important. When you basically let them know that you are submissive, and I'm not a submissive person by nature. So it's difficult to put myself in that position. Kind of, I'm not really dominant. I'm not really submissive. I'm kind of in the middle. I know where I need to be, and I can adapt as the situation requires. I can be very dominant if I need to be, but I can also be extremely submissive when I need to be as well. You need to be versatile like this. You need to be able to flip back and forth and find a middle ground. When you're dealing with these intoxicated passengers, I find it is usually best to be in the submissive mood. Now, there is an exception to this. When we get to the aggressive people, the people that just... There's a lot of times when the minute they get into your car, you can tell that these people are very aggressive. Now, this comes down to personal preference. You can absolutely tell them you're not taking them, toss them out, make them get another ride. But I'm going to tell you, I have done this, and it usually involves them hitting your car or slamming your door excessively hard, cussing you out. It can definitely escalate a bad situation. In fact, it doesn't even have to escalate it. It can create a bad situation out of one that wasn't even technically there. The other option is you can just take them. And again, in a situation like this, I find it's with the highly aggressive ones, a lot of times they talk a lot. They're belligerent, they're talking trash. In this case, it depends on each individual situation, of course, you know that, but you either need to be hyper aggressive and dominant, or the exact opposite, and you need to be hyper submissive. It depends on the situation. Now, if this is a guy that you are fairly certain you can take, and a guy that you know he probably knows you could take him as well, if he's getting too aggressive with you, it may be time to raise your voice, put your foot down, and assert your dominance. Inform him this is your vehicle, and you have the right to throw him out of the car, and he can either sit there and get home safely in a peaceful manner, or you can stop and he can leave. Now, that's not the solution I typically use. Typically, I find it best to just be submissive. Basically, these people are looking for an outlet. They're looking for someone to gripe at. They're looking for someone to degrade, to make themselves feel better. There's people like that, guys, and I feel sorry for them. But if that's what they need me to be, that's what I'll be. You want to cuss and talk trash? Fine. For the most part. Like I said, you will have to determine what you're going to do based on the situation. But guys, let me just tell you this. Being submissive, even though it's not in my nature, has traditionally worked the best for me in all scenarios. But there are going to be times where you have got to just stop and tell them, get out. Get out of my car. Now, if it comes down to this, guys, do not put your hands on them. Do not throw them out of your car. Okay? I did this once. I actually punched a guy in the mouth and I threw him out of my car. That is not the way to handle it. I was very, very new. Not that that's an excuse. You know, he swung on me and he missed, and I hit him and I didn't miss. And then I threw him out on the street and I drove off. Anyway, what you need to do, if it comes down to it, you pull over in a safe location, preferably somewhere well lit, okay, and preferably somewhere in public. Okay, you don't have to just swerve off the road and stop. Get to a well lit area, if you can find one that's populated. If you need to, if you know where a police station is nearby, go there. That is my top recommendation. Do not end the trip. Absolutely do not end the trip, because if you were involved in an accident and he is not on an active route, you guys could be looking at a hell of a personal lawsuit here. Keep the trip running. Get yourself either to the nearest safe location that you can, or if at all possible, get to a police station and basically go inside. Tell them you have a customer that refuses to get out of your car. He's loud, belligerent, and you're afraid he could become violent. The same thing goes for women. There are violent women out there too, but in my experience, it's been mostly males. I mean, that's kind of to be expected. But If you cannot get to a police station, again, guys, well-lit area, pull off somewhere, call the police. Make sure it's somewhere that you can give the police a good idea of where it's at. But if you got an address, great. If not, hey, it's the Big Lots parking lot off of 2nd and Memorial, or just whatever, Make sure it's somewhere the police can find quickly, and let them know that, your passenger is acting very aggressively, and you've asked him to get out of your car, he will not leave, and you are afraid of what he's going to do because the situation is devolving very rapidly. That's about all I can give you guys. Honestly, this should be some very, very well accepted advice. I have found in 16 months of doing this that the way I do it works for me. If it doesn't work for you, understandable. My situations are going to vary drastically from a lot of yours, as will my passengers and my tactics for dealing with it. But I wanted to share with you how I handle these situations, and hopefully you can get some use out of this video. As always, guys, be sure to hit me up on my Facebook account, which is Uberman Driver Network. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's obviously at Uberman YouTube. And, you've already seen the link for the Facebook go flying by. So now we'll bring in the one for Twitter. I hope I was able to help you out, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, be safe and Uber on.